are a few differences and a lot of similarities between DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, so I'm going to attempt to cover the differences as quickly as possible. Over the years, focusing systems have developed in both, and in mirrorless cameras it has come on leaps and bounds, from the very average contrast detection to the much better phase detection, and due to this they are on a par with focusing speed. Also, a lot of mirrorless cameras nowadays have focusing coverage for most of the screen, and you can put the focusing square wherever you want it, whereas with the DSLR, when using the viewfinder, there is still a chance you will have to focus and recompose when the focusing points don't cover your subject, or where that subject lies in your frame. With the viewfinders, mirrorless cameras have a little electronic screen in that viewfinder, whereas DSLRs let you see optically what is going on. So there will be no lag whatsoever with DSLRs. When using a mirrorless EVF, you will see what your photograph will look like before you've even taken it. So this can be a big advantage if you're not 100% sure of your exposure settings. Mirrorless cameras are a little bit smaller, but only a little bit. The main difference is that they don't have to have that prism, the mirror, and the mechanism that flips that mirror up and down out of the way. Now, with the growth of full-frame mirrorless cameras, the sensor does have to be a certain physical size, and to get the light to that sensor, the lens also has to be a certain physical size. So there's no getting around the fact that if you want a fast lens, it's going to be as big as it always has been. While we're on the subject of lenses, with DSLRs there is plenty to choose from. For instance, the Canon EF system has been around for about 30 years, so you could in theory pick a lens from the 90s and still use it with your Canon DSLR. As there are less mirrorless cameras about due to this time difference, there is a smaller secondhand market and a smaller market share in general, as well as newer technology, so mirrorless camera lenses tend to be more expensive. When it comes to battery life, DSLRs tend to have less to run on a minute-by-minute basis. Mirrorless systems do have the screen to run at all times, whether it's on the back of the camera or the one in the electronic viewfinder, and this means the sensor is constantly capturing data to send to either one. With a DSLR, the sensor can be on standby or just sitting in idle between shots, as you don't need it to be capturing data for the viewfinder to work. When it comes to filming videos, DSLRs do have this option, but the companies have been crippling the settings and the quality as well that you can get from these cameras, especially with Canon. Mirrorless cameras have come on a lot faster, and a few functions have come across from the video world. These include focus peaking, where your camera will put a color on the parts that are in focus, and also zebras, where the overexposed parts have a kind of zebra pattern on them, so you can tell what part of your shot is overexposed. These really come in handy, and unless you hack your camera, you won't tend to get these on a DSLR. So there are pros and cons to both. I shoot with mirrorless cameras and have done for quite a few years now, and even though I miss my DSLRs from time to time, the mirrorless system has come on leaps and bounds, and I don't regret switching. Now, what do you shoot? Are you thinking of changing, or are you a die-hard DSLR fan? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've recently converted and want to know the main differences between the two in detail, click on this video here. And for more photography tutorials, click on this video down here. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for weekly tutorials in photography. I'll see you next time.